Good evening. As you know, when I get a fire lit under my ass, I just don't know how to quit. So, over the next few days, I'm sure you'll see me starting to look like shit, and my cognitive function will probably slowly start to disintegrate. Because these people have pissed me off beyond belief. Let's just start out with one of the first atrocities that I see as a man fighting for his fellow people, not just of America, but furthermore of the world. There are only two types of people in this world that do not like to be photographed or videotaped. And I will tell you the two people that I know of that absolutely hate being audio recorded. One is a porn star after a long, hot, sweaty day of work. They've been on camera all fucking day long, and the last thing they want is a fucking camera in their face. And two, the other ones that don't like to be filmed or recorded are criminals. Let me tell you the first thing that I encountered yesterday when walking into the courtroom, or the courthouse, I shall say. Sir, we don't allow cell phones in here. So which one are you? A porn star? Or a criminal? Because you sure don't look like you've worked up an ounce of sweat from beating off or pounding putt all day, so you must be a criminal. First of all, let me just clarify. I've got to be funny at some point, because if you don't add a little bit of humor to this shit, it becomes mundane, all right? The First Amendment, okay, let me be very clear on this. It doesn't grant you a right. It protects your right, the freedom of the press, right? But we're really not press, are we? No. We are above the press. We are American men and women who have a right to videotape and audio record our public officials while in the commission of their official duties. Period. All right? That evidence that is collected by audio recording, okay, ladies and gentlemen, is something that we can reference later. Although with the advent of technology, you can alter things and make people look like they did stuff or said certain things. But the realistic reason for recording is so we have for ourselves a record that can be transcribed by a stenographer, so we can swear to it on an affidavit that the following information is true, accurate, and correct, and not misleading to the best of our knowledge. And then we have an actual video footage, which is nothing more than hearsay, realistically, that we can also add to that affidavit in support of the affidavit. And we can be willing to stipulate to a polygraph test to prove the veracity of our affidavit. All right, that's how assured we are that the record is true, correct, and not misleading in any way. When they are telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that you cannot record in the courthouse, that you cannot come into the physical building, not a courtroom, and just into the building itself, that you cannot have your cell phones with you, that is an egregious encroachment on your unalienable rights. Because, and let me point this out, there are cameras throughout that courthouse. There are cameras throughout the streets. You can't take a shit in the woods anymore without getting caught on some trail cam, video camera, or light cam. You can't go down the road traveling anymore without being on camera, okay? So the expectation of privacy in the public realm is nil. It doesn't exist. In fact, it has been well supported in many court cases that the expectation in public is not there. You don't have it in public. Anybody can take a picture of you. And when you're out in the public, if you're doing nefarious activities and somebody starts recording, you can't stop them from recording you. The only thing you can do is change your conduct and behavior and hope that they didn't catch enough of it on film to prove that you knowingly, willingly, and intentionally were violating somebody else's rights, causing harm, damage, and loss that can be used against you later as evidence, okay? So, That's the first problem I have with these cretins. The more Teresa and I, and this woman is just a fantastic little go-getter. I'm going to tell you right now, she is a creepy stalker. That shit is wild. I don't know how she finds half the information she finds. Blows my mind. She's literally finding judges' addresses, bar attorneys' addresses. She's not only finding their addresses, ladies and gentlemen, she's finding their mistresses' houses, their kids' houses. She can find their bank accounts, where they're doing banking, where they went to college, when they graduated. I am pretty flabbergasted at this woman's talent. She probably should seek a profession in, helping people track people down. She's like a little bloodhound. So, a cute little sniffer. But anyway, moving on. We are learning at a phenomenal rate. And there's just 2 of us going at it. Tomorrow there'll be 3 of us brainstorming. I think we're going to go get a really nice big whiteboard, and we are going to start to focus on drawing and connecting the dots between this organization and what they're actually doing. From the board of directors to the county board of supervisors to the city board, they're all participating in willfully fleecing their fellow American patrons within the community, okay? And it's all for profit and gain. It's all for unjust enrichment under the guise that legislators have granted them the authority to do so. And that's a gross and egregious misunderstanding of what the legislator is put in place for and what they've actually done, okay? Under the Act of 1871, the Reorganization Act, everything came underneath the executive branch. That means there is no separation of powers anymore. This is all under war powers, and it's very important for you to comprehend and understand what I'm telling you, all right? There is no separation between church and state. There is no separation between the judicial branch, the executive branch, the legislative branch. There just isn't. There isn't. They're all working together, okay? And one of the ways that we can prove this is literally the Foreign Bar Association has infiltrated every aspect of the American government. It's no longer a de jure government. It's a de facto government for profit and gain at the behest of a bankrupt corporation that is insolvent, utilizing your life source energy to profit, gain, and unjustly enrich themselves, all while covering their debts that they manifested. The national debt, ladies and gentlemen, is owed to you and I. We don't owe the national debt to them. They owe it to us, period. None of them have a delegation of authority to operate outside of Washington, D.C. None of them are authorized by the Supreme Court to be down here doing what they're doing. None of them are compliant with the DOJ's Foreign Registration Act of 1938, amended in 1939. Okay, I could go on for weeks. But instead of bitching about the problem, it's time to start talking about the solution. And the viable solution is this: sinking their battleships by capturing their bonds. You remember when we as kids, we used to play shit like capture the flag, flag football, things of that nature? Think of it in that respect. This is now a game where we're going to turn up the fucking heat, all right? We understand what the birth certificate is. It's a bill of fucking lading. It's something that you transport titles on, okay, from one location to another. You can capture that, and we're going to talk to you about how to do that. The other thing is learning how to identify when your unalienable rights are being violated and these people are in breach of their oath of office, which means they're in breach of trust, they're derelict of their duty, they're causing you harm, loss, and damage, and being able to identify that. I called Mr. Anonymous shortly after the whole court shenanigans today, and he just laughed. He goes, "Derrick, you know, it's cute what you're doing. The paperwork you're doing is essentially bitching. Nobody gives a fuck about bitching." I said, no. I think you got it misconstrued. I'm simply giving them notice of the things that I'm about to do to them. And he goes, no. We don't give notice in this world, Derrick. We take action. And that resonated with me greatly. He says, "Derrick, like you say all the time, if you've got a reason to knock somebody's dick in the dirt, you don't talk about it, you just fucking do it, right? Yeah, well, if you've got a cause of action against these people, you don't have to turn around and give them all this due process and notice and opportunity. They did a wrong. They committed a crime in front of you. Now you have an obligation to report it up the chain of command, Because if you witness a felony afoot and you say nothing about it, then you can be charged as an accessory after the fact, okay? So that's important to know, and that's where misprison of a felony comes in, which is a common law action, okay? That common law action still exists today, and what you do, according to Mr. Namas, is prove statutorily that the statutes also enforce and support the common law. So what I had to do was I had to go into the IRC code, or the IC code, the Indiana codes for Indiana, and I had to find where in the statutes their statutes also reflect that the common law has standing, okay? Because that's the only way that you can move an action for misprison of a felony, which is a crime, okay? And the active primary degree of fault falls upon the man or woman that you inform of the crime afoot while swearing under oath that the information you're providing is true, accurate, and correct. They have a duty. And that duty is, if they don't know what to fucking do, which most of them are incompetent and don't know what to do, then they are to toss it up the chain of command to the next guy in line, whether that be the state troopers division, the sheriff, the judge, the county judge, to the district judge to the federal court system. And what he explained to me next was brilliant. Absolutely fucking beautiful. All right. So let's talk about misprison of a felony before I go into what Mr. Anonymous was talking to me about this evening while he was laughing at me. Although I think he has a lot of admiration for what I do. It's time to start fine-honing this knowledge and really putting it to good use to help people find remedy. Right, yes, talk about remedy. So, Chapter 4, Uniform Judicial Notice of Foreign Law Act, Title 34. Okay, this is out of the Indiana Code. Every court in Indiana shall take judicial notice of the common law and the statutes of every state, territory, and other jurisdiction of the United States. Title 18, so that means that Indiana has to take judicial notice of Title 18, subsection 4, which is misprison of a felony, which states, whoever having knowledge of an actual commission of a felony cognizable by a court of the United States conceals and does not as soon as possible make known the same to some judge or other person in a civil or military authority under the United States shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. Well, here's the thing. I witnessed felony today. Okay, I witnessed felony treason, I witnessed denial of due process of law, I witnessed threat, intimidation, extortion, I witnessed oath of office violations, I witnessed the First Amendment violation today, and I don't want to spend 3 years in jail or face a $1,000 fine or both because I didn't report these things. So I'm going to do my duty as a man to report this properly, right? That's what I've been trying to do in these courts. And they're going, fuck you, you're not allowed in here. We know what you're trying to do. You're bad for business, Derek. You're fucking A right I am, because you're not being honorable and you're not being fucking honest about it. And if you were honorable in the slightest fucking degree, then hearing what I have to say in your fucking kangaroo bullshit courts that you're utilizing under the auspice that you're government, when really you're working for a private ad hoc corporation under the UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, to unjustly enrich yourselves and negotiate securities, all while engaged in human trafficking, the trafficking of children, extortion, false and fictitious names, false and fictitious claimants, false and fictitious statements. I could just go on and on and on. Anyway, so my point, remedy, right? We want to talk about the remedy. One of the remedies is being able to identify that your rights are being violated. The second remedy is being able to comprehend how it's happening. Are they knowingly, willingly, and intentionally doing it? Are they using deceit, trickery, manipulation of the language to do it? Can you identify the trespass that results, the tort action that results from a trespass? Can you identify it? Yes or no? That's the question. And a lot of people are going to go, I thought you were going to tell us about remedy. I am telling you about remedy. The people that are having a closed mind right now going, oh God, he's just yammering on about the problem. He's not ever going to get to the point. Well, unfortunately for you guys, you're missing the point, because until you can identify these things, there is no fucking remedy for you. All right? That's a fact. So, we've identified the problem. Now let's identify the solution. Now, when we get into the solution, this is where it gets beautiful. I've always just absolutely vehemently hated the idea of a lawsuit. My family was always, I was always raised, you don't sue people. You just don't do it. It's not, in my family, it wasn't an honorable thing to sue somebody. You know, you just took your licks, moved on. You either stay away from people that cause you harm, damage, and loss, but whatever you do, you don't bring them into a court. You don't sue them. Today, and over the last couple of weeks, I've been educating myself, along with a couple gals who are on the internet that have bestowed some information upon us about surety bonds, okay, and how they work. Well, as we start looking into the surety bonds today, okay, I started to realize you don't have to sue these people. You don't have to spend the next 5, 10, 15 years of your life proving a fucking point in a manipulated court system that often yields no remedy to the man or woman aggrieved from the actions taken by public officials. No, it gets really fucking good, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as you witness these atrocities and you learn how to create your affidavits, you can send this off to their surety on behalf of their principal who's holding their bonds, and you can liquidate their bonds. Now, Mr. Anonymous, God love this guy. He's just so fucking brilliant. He says, Derrick, sounds like a little bit of work there. I said, sure is. He said, why not just take them into small claims court for $1? For $1. I go, well, doesn't that bar me from my claim for damages and all that later on? He goes, oh, no. You're going to get a declaratory judgment from a small claims court where no lawyers can walk into. No lawyers can walk into a small claim court. I was unaware of this. I did not know this to be true until today when he affirmed it. And he said, no, I'm going to tell you right now, it's you and them in there. And if they don't make their point and they can't articulate in good faith why they did what they did, and they violated their oath of office, and you hammer them for $1 for breach of trust, then you can come back later with a declaratory judgment from the small claims court, right? And now you can go after your damages, okay? Now you can take your small claims court because these people can't hide behind a lawyer. It's you and them, and that's where becoming learned in this information is going to be beneficial. Okay, let's say you don't want to go to small claims court. Let me explain to you what the bonding company actually has a duty to do. They have a duty to investigate the claim that you bring forward, okay? And they're going to do a claim on their own accord, and they're going to look into your facts that you present in the form of an affidavit sworn to under the pains and penalties of perjury and willing to subject yourself to a polygraph test if needed. All right, you're willing to do that. And that's just kind of proving that your word is your bond and you are going to stand by it. So people say polygraph tests are inadmissible in court. Well, that's not the point. The point is you're willing to go above and beyond what most people would do, and you're willing to subject yourself to a polygraph test. The question then becomes, is the defendant, is the offender, is the one who caused or did a wrong, who caused me a harm, damage, and loss, willing to also stipulate to a polygraph test? Because if not, sure starting to look funny around here, ain't it? Okay, so my whole point to all this is they will do an investigation. They will give, when they find, through the information that you provided, and this is why becoming learned, so you can also point out not only what they did, but their actions, what their actions actually, by doing their actions, by executing their actions, they actually violated either the policy, their oath of office, they're in breach of trust, they're involved in extortion, kidnapping, so on and so forth. I mean, the list really just goes on. But you want those statutory codes that you can rely on, and you can also tie them into the common law. And if you can find the UCC that jives with it, ladies and gentlemen, we are now connecting dots. And we are going to help these individuals at that have power of attorney that are holding these bonds. We're going to help them make their assessment. We're going to make it a little easier for them, okay? And one of the ways that we can make it a lot easier for them, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm telling you right fucking now, anytime you have contact with a public official, I don't give a fuck if it's asking for a roll of toilet paper. You need to pull up one of these babies right here. Oh yeah, that's a color of law form, right? And you need just some simple, pertinent information. Let's go through this real quick. You need, this one's kind of a, let me find one that's a little darker. We print a shit ton of these because, you know, why not? There we go. You see it a little better now. This is a color of law form, right? And color of law is statutorily supported, and it's supported with the USC as well as supported by the common law as well, okay? And so the color of law form, name and address of the citizen, name and address of notice recipient, and citizen statement. The citizen statement can be, this color of law form was served on, Dana Kenworthy doing business as Honorable Judge blah, 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 on this date at this time, and you can sign it, okay? And then in this color of law notice, I want to point something out. Now, this is going to be very beneficial to you when you get a hold of the surety company, when you get a hold of the bonding agency, okay? Because you're going to be able to say, hey, look, I noticed that they were dangerously encroaching upon my unalienable rights, breach of trust, breach of their oath of office, violating their policies, and putting their bond up at risk, okay? And when I noticed that, I said, hey, whoa, before we go any further, just to make sure that everybody's here is acting in good faith and upholding their oath of office, I need you guys to just go ahead and sign this real quick, okay? To let me know that you're operating in good faith and you're not operating in commerce trying to make a bunch of fucking money fleecing me for unvalidated, unverified statements, claims, complaints that are being made and manufactured by some snot-nosed, shit-stained, lying, looting, pandering piece of shit lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to talk about making a judge start to work for you? Throw this in front of them, all right? And it states the following. Federal law provides that it is a crime to violate the constitutional rights of a citizen under the color of law. You can be arrested for this crime, and you can also be held personally liable. Personally liable, ladies and gentlemen. That is music to my fucking ears, because you want to know what they mean by personally liable? They're meaning that you have a claim against the surety bond. And if the surety bond doesn't happen to cover the damages sustained by you while these people egregiously breach the trust, well, then you have an option of liquidating their estates, okay? And Mr. Anonymous and I were talking about that. I said, well, how would one go about necessarily liquidating their estates? He says, Derrick, remember when we talked about the 433A and the 433B? I said, I do. He said, very well then. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take them into a small claims court for $1 for breach of trust. You're going to win that damn case. You're going to get a judgment from the lower court on that in the small claims court for $1. And all you're doing there is substantiating the facts. Okay. And the fact is they are in breach of trust. They caused you harm, damage, and loss by their actions, violating their oath of office, whether it be extortion, kidnapping, child, abduction, you name it. The list goes on and on and on. And I said, okay. And he said, and then you're going to take them into involuntary bankruptcy. That's a new one for me. Can you explain that? Oh, yes. You see, because you've already got an order from the lower court that they did, in fact, violate the trust. They're in breach under color of law or whatever else. Now, you can hook them up and put them on the ringer after the bonding agency liquidates their surety bond. Now, you can take them into the ringer, and you're going to take them into involuntary bankruptcy through the IRS. Okay, you're going to take them into a court of the IRS, into involuntary bankruptcy, where they will be compelled to fill out a 433A and a 433B showing a list of their business assets and personal assets, and they will liquidate the fuck out of their estates until you are compensated and made whole. I said, well, how do we know when one is going to be made whole under certain circumstances? Well, in the instance that we are in right now, he said, remember when I told you to execute the agricultural lien? I said, oh, absolutely. Did you do it? Yes, I did. $279 million for that little tyke. And he said, good. You're going to send that agricultural lien to the agricultural commissioner, and because protection orders have been put in place because you were executing private administrative processes and they didn't want you to be successful, now you're going to utilize the agricultural commissioner and you're going to show who's liable, the liability party that is liable for fulfilling the agricultural lien. They are going to become the liable parties, because they're in constructive possession of decedent estate property, failing to pay the transfer tax under Title 26, 2603, 2602, 2001, 2002. Anybody in constructive possession of decedent estate property or decedent estate property is liable for the transfer taxes on a carryover basis. Not to mention, under Title 26, 2032, AE 11, everybody is responsible for being independently bonded with the Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico. So, when you go to the commissioner of the agricultural commissioner, you are going to give them a list of addresses and names of the people who touched this case, who touched this boy, who warehoused this boy. And you're going to give them orders to go ahead and put the other parties on notice. Now, you are not violating the protection order that is put in place frivolously because you were executing due process of law. Because in the last court case before this, they were trying to say that we were harassing and intimidating, but yet as they read the correspondence, not the letters, because we didn't send an A, a B, a C, a D, an E, an F, an I, a G. No, we sent correspondence, okay? Because we're literate. We understand there's a difference between a letter and a correspondence, okay? And these correspondence are very polite, of course. You're saying, you know, if you believe that you do no wrong, I'll be more than happy to invite you to a competent court of jurisdiction where you can explain any lawful excuse you feel you may have for the actions that you exhibited or took against I, causing I harm, damage, and loss. You know, so it's non-threatening. Okay, and it took a while to learn how to write like this because I wasn't always like that. Back in the day, I was pretty brutal, but cooler heads really do prevail. And when you learn how to construct your writ so it's not threatening, it's not menacing, okay? None of the writs that I construct at this point in my life, because I've grown up or been shown a better way, however you want to perceive it, it makes no difference to me. The point is, you get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, all right? Don't piss in a cup and expect 100,000 bees to come enjoy the nectar. It's just not going to happen, all right? So you want to be professional, you want to be acute to attention to detail, and you want to be very clear and concise. And the number one thing you want to make sure you never do is you never threaten anybody for any reason in a correspondence. It's this simple. If you believe that you do no wrong, if you do not wish to provide remedy at this time and you believe that you do no wrong, I will be happy to invite you to a court of competent jurisdiction where you can explain any lawful excuse you feel you may have for this list of what I believe to be violations of my unalienable rights. Okay, such as extortion, deception, theft by taking, kidnapping, harassment, whatever they may be. Okay, and I'm stating that I believe this is what you've done because now I'm not making an accusation. This is just my belief at this point. We're going to allow a judicial officer to actually make that determination. Now, if you're really good with your private administrative processes, they've already slit their own fucking throat. They've already hung themselves by failing to respond, which means they've conditionally accepted or they've acquiesced by tacit agreement or tacit procreation, okay? Anyway, back to this color of law form. This color of law form puts everybody's hiney hairs at attention, okay? It knots them up real nice. And it's something you can just print offline. And it goes into the details. And what this is actually due process of law. You are giving notice and opportunity that you are a man or woman willing and competent and capable of standing on your unalienable rights, and you know the difference between law and bullshit, all right? And so this is just a polite little reminder. Now, in the event that you see troubled times coming ahead, an actor has lost their mind, they're now acting seditiously or insurrectious behavior begins to become afoot, you have this signed, and this can now go to the bonding agency with their signature on it and with the statement of fact on there from the citizen's statement, okay? And it's just a nice little piece of paper to have in your arsenal. Oh, where is the other piece of paper? Where are my W-9s at?
That's a good question.
It's a great question.
Where's
I'm
that
trying to
FOIA?
help these people to the best of my ability.
That's that FOIA right there,
The FOIA? No, I don't know. I don't know if I should. I don't know if they're ready for the FOIA yet.
though. Is those yours?
I need to put a class together on all this because it would be much better presented in a PowerPoint. But while I'm still alive today, because every day is a gift, I figure I better get this off my chest now. And as always, I give freely throughout the evenings and the days. And then I will take a week and put this all together in a PowerPoint. And if you care to join me, I will do a class, and for a donation of $100 you can participate in the class. Otherwise you can just go back through these videos over and over and over again and do what I used to do 10 years ago and pause the video and write it down word for word until you have it all on a piece of paper, which is typically how I learn best anyway. So I give it freely. And then again, when I put it into a class and I put 180 to 250 hours into PowerPoint presentations, I do ask a small gratuitous donation of $100 to participate in that. We are looking for the W-9s.
They are.
All right, let's have one of those. Perfect. All right, so we went over the color of law form. The next document, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to cover. And again, Mr. Anonymous pointed this out to me a long time ago. He says, Derrick, you've clearly identified that they're not a judicial branch, that it's quasi-judicial in rem proceedings that are happening, which means that under CFR 277211, all crimes are commercial: rape, sodomy, larceny, grand theft auto, murder. It's all commercial. And because of that, everybody that is participating in the case is required to fill out this baby right here. It's called the W-9. All right. And this, the reason that we get the W-9 is so we can adequately do the 4506A, the 13909, 3949A, and the 211 form. Okay. Because they are not government. It is not, they are not filling the true seats of the judicial court. Okay. These are Article 1, Section 8 courts that only have jurisdiction over military personnel, voluntary serfs, and government. Period. That's what the legislator has the ability to govern and legislate. So, with that being known, their failure to fill this out and provide the W-9 for the principal corporation for which they're doing business with actually comes at a $50 fee. Okay, so it's a $50 fine, excuse me. It's not a fee, it's a $50 fine. If they fail to fill this out, you put this and present this to them, and they say, fuck you, fly a kite, denied, I'm not doing that. Fine, so be it, don't argue with them. Remember, we come in peace. Take me to your fucking Lita. I just want to know who has your bond. Could give a shit less whether you agree with me, don't agree with me, because ignorance of the law excuses no one, right? So the second they don't fill this out, you're just going to go ahead and ask what the true or correct name of the court or operation, the principal corporation that you're doing business with at that point. That 9 times out of 10, you're there vietus arms, which means under threat, duress, and coercion, under threat of physical force is the reason that you're there. And you're going to make that known on and for the official record. So you're going to get their name at the court and all that good jazz. So you can send this off to the IRS. The IRS will take it from there, and they will send it back to you and give you the EIN. At that point, you can do the 4506A, find out whether or not this is a tax-exempt organization. If it is not a tax-exempt organization, ladies and gentlemen, it is not government. It is a corporation, period. Corporations are not exempt from taxes. There's only 2 organizations that I know of at this point that are really exempt from taxes, and that's a 508c1a and a 501c3. Okay, that's it. Religious organizations, period. Everything else has a tax in some fashion or some form, and when it comes back from the IRS, they're not tax exempt. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a fucking Yahtzee. We've got foreign corporations working with foreign entities and foreign agents unregistered, not registered through the DOJ, according to the Foreign Registration Act of 1938, amended in 1939, who have failed to independently bond themselves with the Secretary of Treasury of Puerto Rico under Title 26, 2032, AE11, who also are non-compliant with the Real ID Act, as well as, hold on here, the Real ID Act, Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 11B, when you're dealing with lawyers, that's when 11B really comes into play, pleadings and things of that nature. Also under Title 6 CFR 37.3, full legal name, violative appellation. They're using a misnomer or a nom de guerre, a name of war that is unregistered, false or fictitious business name or assumed business name, as well as in violation of the proper name pursuant to Title 18 U.S. Code, subsection 1342, which deals with mail matter. Well, I'm here to tell you, if the mailman has an issue with false and fictitious names, by golly, we're going to go ahead and drag in Title 18 U.S.C., subsection 1342 as well. Why? Because 9 times out of 10, these asshats will send you mail matter with a Pitney Bowes stamp. Now, if you can identify these things, you have the Office of the Inspector General that you can also turn this stuff over to. But I want to get back to the more pressing issue, okay? And that pressing issue right now is the human trafficking. It is going on at a phenomenal rate. They are trafficking our elders. They are trafficking our youth to prisons. They are trafficking our elders into nursing homes so they can liquidate their estates and say that they're taking care of the elders, so they have to liquidate the estate to offset costs, which is a bunch of cockamamie hoopla bullshit. What a way to spend the rest of your life in a fucking prison cell, basically, and God knows where, in some nursing home with Helga that wants to beat the shit out of you every day because you're honoring like to throw tennis balls. You know, I mean, I just don't see that in my future. Anyway. Needless to say, we have to put our foot up these people's asses, and I think I have found a viable way, a remedy, if you will, to do that, and that is through assessing their bonds for violations. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of give you that little spiel this evening. I hope this helps you out. You were going to want to, and here's something else Mr. Anonymous shared with me. He said, you know that judge today that pissed you off? I go, uh-huh. She said, you know, she tried to piss on your back and convince you it was raining, right? I said, yep. He goes, guess what you can do? I go, what? He goes, you can also sue her husband. I go, what? Oh, yeah, you can sue her husband. Her husband is benefiting from the unjust enrichment that she's doing through human trafficking. And so he is a liable party as well. You can go ahead and hang your hat on that one as well, Derek. You can sue him in his personal capacity as well, because he's married to the nag, and because he's married to that nag, he's responsible for that nag. And I was like, I fucking love it. So these are just it's food for thought. Okay. In the event, let's just say that the numbers that you reach for the for you being aggrieved because of the harm, damage, and loss that you have sustained due to these agents and agency piss poor performance. Let's just say it's like $6 million, and the bond's only good for $3 million. Then what you can do is, again, you can open up a small claims court for $1 to prove that they violated your unalienable rights or breach of trust, so on and so forth. And then from there, you can take them into the tax court, into involuntary bankruptcy, and that's where they'll have to produce all their assets, and you can literally leave these people without a pot to fucking piss in. You want to talk about changing the conduct of the public officials? When you do this shit and you do it right, ladies and gentlemen, all the bullshit will stop, okay? And if we educate enough people on how to do this, what will end up happening is that the tides will change naturally, and people will seek to do business more honorably, and our public officials will come back into line as being servants, for which we didn't force them to be a servant. They made a conscious decision, knowingly, willingly, and intentionally made a conscious decision to be our servants. As a servant, you don't get to come into my fucking house and put your muddy fucking boots on my coffee table. That is a quick way to get a square fucking boot up your ass. Okay, and I want to teach you guys how to put that square boot right up their ass. Because as soon as you liquidate that surety bond, one good fucking time, I'm talking one good hit, that man or woman who's egregiously caused you harm, damage through breach of trust can no longer be employed by the alleged government because they can no longer be insured. Okay? And it is a fundamental requirement before they take their oath of office that they are independently fucking bonded. Amen. Now, for the states and counties and cities that have elected to just have a blanket bond, that have convinced their public employees that you don't have to be bonded. Frank, we gotcha, buddy. I want you public officials to go look at the policy, and it's a bit of confusing menagerie of language and bullshit. But somewhere in that blanket bond, you will find, if you're a public official and you operate outside your scope, outside your policies, outside the corporate charter, they will leave you out to fucking dry. And when I get done teaching the American people how to do this shit, you will be hung out there and left without a pot to piss in because you weren't independently bonded like you were supposed to be. You believed in the principal corporation you were working for in the charter. You never took the time to read the contract about the blanket bond. And because of that, when you work outside of your scope of your official duties and policies within the corporate charter, you are 100% liable in your personal capacity, and they will walk away from you like they didn't even fucking know you. And I don't care if you spent 35 fucking years with them building a cushion under their ass. They will walk away from you and say, Frank, sorry to tell you this, but right here in line fucking 4 of page 65, it says that if you operate outside of your scope of authority, you are operating in bad faith, and we are not liable to pay out any claims against you. Rather, you are personally liable for your actions, and these people have grounds to sue. We're not going to protect you. We're not going to help hire an attorney for you. In no way, shape, or form do we want anything to do with this. We have plausible deniability. All right. The nice thing about the blanket bonds is that the blanket bonds allow you to gather and capture any asset that principal corporation may have their little greedy, grubby hands on, okay? And so in some aspects, I almost think when I come into a neighborhood and there's a fucking blanket bond, I'm a-liking it. I'm a-liking it a lot. Now, who else is responsible for these agents and agency? Well, in plumbing, shit rolls downhill. However, in the political subdivisions, shit miraculously defies gravity and it rolls uphill. That's right. We're going to take our way all the way up the gravy fucking train. Because at the end of the day, the governor is responsible for all his delinquent, insubordinate, deficient piece of shit fuckers that are screwing you over. So we found out in Indiana that per every $30,000 of the bond equals $1 million of coverage. So when the clerk of the court is bonded for $300,000, it's something like $9 or $10 million is what the actual bond is worth. So we can make a pretty substantial fucking claim without overstepping the bond. And when we do that, we don't have to sue her in her personal fucking capacity. And if you're like me, and you really don't want to be in the fucking court system for 3, 4, 5 years, 6 months, 8 months, and you'd rather be out there fishing and helping and being a fisher of men and helping your fellow brothers and sisters ascend to the mind and learning how to do this, then it might just be wise for you to become cognizant of how much the bonds are actually worth. And that way you don't encroach or overstep that bond, and you just land on it somewhere nice and comfortable, maybe 3/4 of the bond. That way they will just cut you a check and you can go back about your business. Okay, in the 21st century, I think this is a very lucrative way for you to retire, because our public officials are of the mindset that they can do whatever the fuck they want and their bosses say so and will support them. However, I'm here to tell you right now, with that kind of ignorant mindset, you could become filthy fucking rich in a matter of no time, because they are constantly breaching the trust. They are constantly violating people's rights. They are constantly ignoring misprision of a felony when common men and women are articulating to these judges, bailiffs, sheriffs, state troopers, a felony afoot or a crime that they witnessed. They oftentimes just throw it to the wayside and do nothing with it. That's a misprision of a felony, and because you reported it to them and they didn't report it up the chain of command, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? The primary active degree of fault for liability falls on them. Can I get an amen? Now my little bloodhound over here is getting all giddy about something. She thinks she may have found something important.
I did.
What did you find?
I found the Indiana Disbursements by Fund report.
The Indiana Disbursements by Fund report.
Every county, you can see how much money they're spending on bonds and how much.
Oh yeah, well that covers the Treasury, the Comptroller, that covers the prosecuting attorney, it covers the Sheriff's Department, it covers the coroner, it also covers a number of other miscellaneous. I've come across miscellaneous people. They don't have a title, but they have like a $9,000 or $8,000 bond or a $5,000 bond. I don't know what exactly they're doing. Maybe they're vermin control, maybe they're pest control, maybe they're inspectors of some sort. I don't know. But we are finding it very interesting. So that brings up the next point.
And then I look, and then this shows like all their receipts.
Oh yeah, because per $30,000 of receipts, they must have $1 million worth of coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Cha-ching, cha-ching. And Walter Bierny discovered the CAFR and really brought out the CAFR report showing that all counties are actually in the black to the tunes of tens of millions, if not billions of dollars, depending on what geographical location and state that you're in or county. They're all invested into things like Pfizer, IBM, Microsoft, Apple, you name it. These counties are investing, okay? What are they investing with? Well, they're investing with your sweat equity. They're investing with your investment in their principal corporation, and for which you're due and owing rights, titles, interest, annuities, dividends, derivatives, debentures, hediments, general tangibles, general intangibles, chattel, security, trust residuals, assets, rents, profits, and proceeds. But they're not giving you your fucking cut, are they? No. They're not doing that. Why? Because you haven't come forward and made a claim. Made a claim to your good name and the assets that are behind that good name. So let's talk a little bit more. Who else is liable for these bad actors' piss poor performances? Well, you have the county board of supervisors, you have the city board of supervisors, you have the city attorney, you have the county attorney. All of them are on the fucking ringer because they are all running a corporation, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, under the guise and the auspice that they're government, there to protect and serve you. And boy, oh boy, are they doing just the opposite. So when we started delving into this judge and the child support thing, and not only just the child support thing, but the adoption agencies and so on and so forth, we have now found that this goes all the way to the governor and the attorney general of the state. Yes, sir. And the bonds for the governor are muy bien. They are beautiful. And as soon as we can prove through contract that he's knowingly, willingly, and intentionally participating in this scheme to unjustly enrich himself and his principal based upon human trafficking, well, we'll see what his bond agency has to say about that. What his innocent explanation might be for condoning such behavior and openly defying the Constitution for which he took an oath to. So with that said, I love you guys. I'm going to let you guys go. It's very interesting, the things that we were discovering. Be honest with you, I think this is some of the stuff that JFK was talking about that may have gotten killed. What we are talking about is monumental. It's huge. It's astronomical. And it's not just here in the United States, ladies and gentlemen. It's in Canada. It's in New Zealand. It's in Australia. It's everywhere. The governments around the world are all the fucking same. They got to rob Peter to pay fucking Paul. They are all without a pot to fucking piss in and insolvent, okay? So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go. I think it's like 3 or 4 in the morning here. We just can't get to sleep because every time we start digging into something, it gets even better. Here, check this out. All foreign agents and agency are required to register per the Foreign Registration Act of FARA of 1938, as amended in 1939, with the Department of Justice, DOJ, under Title 8, USC 1481 A2 and A4 states once an oath of office is taken, citizenship is relinquished. Thus, you become a foreign entity, agency, or state. That means every public officer is a foreign state, including all political subdivisions. Not some, not part of all political subdivisions. Title 22 USC Foreign Relations and Intercourse, Chapter 11 identifies as all public officials as foreign agents. Federal Rules of Civil Procedure 4J states that all courts, jurisdictions, and immunities fall under the foreign state. Okay, now in the mid 50s, could have been early 70s, forgive me, my recollection may be slipping a little bit, all 50 states began to register the state seal in Canada. Okay, so when they want to tell you that they're not operating on behalf of a foreign fucking principal, may I please get your innocent explanation as to the sigil that you're using and why it's registered in fucking Canada if you're not operating on behalf of a foreign principal? Why is your sigil and seal registered in a foreign country? Care to explain that? Answer that one for me? I'll wait. So when you tell me as a public official that you don't have to register as a foreign agent, you can get fucked. Title 22 CFR 92.12 and 13 Foreign Relationships states that an oath is required to take office. The 11th Amendment, foreign citizen cannot invoke the judicial powers of the state. Title 28 USC 3002-15A states the definition of the United States means a federal corporation. Foreign Sovereign Immunity Act of 1976, Section 1605 through 1608 hold government actors of the United States liable for the tort of trespass. Now that's really important. Those three words, tort of trespass, write them down, put them in your spank bank. You're not going to want to forget them. All right? Tort because of a trespass. Tort of trespass. A trespass is something that happens that causes you a harm. Okay? And a tort is your remedy or your cause of action for remedy. Okay? Or any injury or damage against the sovereign people of the citizens of the several states. Okay, the several states are not the state of. The several states, for example, one of the several states would be Nebraska. Just Nebraska, not Nebraska State, not anything else. Just Nebraska is one of the several states, the union of states, okay? Now, here's the difference. Okay, they do these nifty little tricks. The state of Nebraska is not Nebraska. Remember this maximum. I'll put this in your head as well. Dissimilar things should not be joined, and similar is not same. So the state of Nebraska is not Nebraska. And make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, the republic still exists today. You can enforce it, you can invoke it, you can stand upon it proudly, and you can help your fellow brothers and sisters ascend to the mind to take this nation back from a bunch of lying, looting, pandering, thieving motherfuckers that don't belong on our soil, don't belong on our land, and quite frankly, I'll stop there. I don't want to create insurrection and seditious behavior. Hold government actors of the United States liable for the tort or trespass or any injury or damage against the sovereign people of the several citizens of the several states. Attorneys are considered foreign agents under the Foreign Registration Act of the United States FARA and are subject of the Bar Association and are squires of the Knights of the Inns of Court who answer directly to the Queen of England. Corporations cannot govern we the people of the citizens of the several states, okay, with entitlements of privileges and immunities in Article 4, Section 2 of the Constitutional Contract. 19 Corpus Juris Secundum, subsection 883. The United States government is a foreign corporation. With respect to a state, all public servant, officials, congressmen, politicians, judges, attorneys, law enforcement officers, states, and their various agencies, etc., are the express agents of these foreign principles, which is why they're required to be independently fucking bonded. See Foreign Agents Registration Act of 1938 as amended in 1939 and Title 22 U.S.C. 286, 263, 185G, 267J, 611C, 2, and 3. Treasury Delegation Order, also number 91. There reflects no evidence on this court's record. Yeah, well, this is my statements to the court earlier today that I didn't get to make. All right, number 3. False and fictitious plaintiffs, a person appearing in the writ, complaint, or record as the plaintiff in a suit, but who in reality does not exist, like the state of Nebraska, the state of Colorado, the state of Utah, the state of Texas. Okay, you got me? You picking up what I'm laying down, trying to help you guys. Or who is ignorant of the suit and of the use of his name in it. It is contempt of court to sue in the name of a fictitious party. That's a fact, all right? But you got to know that in order to identify it, in order to bring it to everybody's attention. The state of Indiana is, in fact, a false and fictitious entity, plaintiff existing on paper only. The state of Indiana has no cognitive function and is incapable of providing first-hand knowledge of any facts, let alone making a general appearance before this court, which violates my unalienable rights to face my accuser per Article 6 of the United States Constitution for America and the Constitution of Indiana, Article 1, Section 13A, and constitutes a denial of due process of law, amongst other violations. No plaintiff has made a general appearance sworn to bonding this action, willingly capable to testify to the veracity of the harm, damage, and loss sustained by my actions in this case, and to date, this court record reflects the same. Whereas no verifiable pleadings have been produced on this court's record, which constitutes denial of due process of law. Per Title 26, we've already been through that. I'm not going to bore you with that.
Read this.
Okay, here's another great thing. Remember how earlier I was articulating to you that all courts are engaged in commerce? That's what they're doing. It's a commercial transaction. They're dealing with securities, features, and annuities, right? And they're monetizing bid bond, performance bond, payment bond, warehouse bond, and a number of other GSA forms, okay? Per Social Security Administration Form SSA 89, anyone utilizing the Social Security number is required to complete the SSA 89 form and pay the fee of $5,000 for the initial enrollment fee for the use of the Social Security number person. There exists no evidence on this court's record that any agent and agency is in compliance with the Social Security Administration rule and regulation. Okay, this is important because the only reason they actually have you in that court is so they can create securities. Okay, in order to create those securities, they need to attach it to the Social Security account so they can make a transfer of the credits on account or the permissible units or the funds. Okay, that's what they're doing. And with that said, I'm really going to let you guys go because I'm burning the midnight oil over here. I love you guys. I hope this helps you out tremendously. Love, light, peace, happiness, all that good mantrage. We'll talk to you real soon. Like I said, I'm going to put a class together. It's going to be a kick-ass class. It's time for the American people, as well as the people around the world, to have this information and stand up and put a boot up these assholes' asses. It's time. Wars are not won with guns, guts, glory, and bullets. It's not how it's won, ladies and gentlemen. It's won with articulate, intelligent individuals willing to grind it out, put in the time, do the work, and be able to articulate it. So I hope that this video helps you out. I love you guys. Start searching their surety bonds, okay? It can be done. And me and this little bloodhound over here are going to get back after it because it's just too much fun. Millions! She says millions!
Like
None of that shit matters. If you guys understood truly what the national debt was, 26 trillion is junk. It's bullshit. It's so much greater than that. The wealth is unfathomable. So we're talking about ancient generations that contributed to these trust accounts that exist for all of us to utilize. I don't think there actually is a name for the amount of credits on account that exist. from the energy harvested from our ancestors that's rightfully due and owing to us. Not to mention that your future earnings was already liquidated before you were born. You were still a nut stain running down a wall, and they had already spent everything that you could have ever conceived of making in your lifetime. Okay? So with that said, I love you guys, and we'll talk real soon.
Derrick, this